Hi friends, we are here to go over what is talked about in Eureka Grade 5, Module 1, Lesson 6, regarding comparing decimals in various forms. All right, so let's go ahead and start by remembering what our place values are for decimals. So if I'm to draw a place value chart. All right, so right here we have our tenths. The one before that would be our ones. This is where our decimal point is because our decimal point separates our integers from our fractional parts. And then I have my tenths, I have my hundredths, and then remember in 5th grade, we also work on our thousandths. All right, so now that we have our place value chart, we can go ahead and start thinking about a couple different problems. So let's say that we want to compare. Oh, wrong thing. We would like to compare, here we go. All right, so we want to compare 167 and 4 tenths versus 167 and 462 thousandths. All right, so if I'm looking at these two, let's go ahead and represent how we're doing this in our place value chart as well. I'm going to go ahead and add a hundreds column, excuse me. Let me make sure that we can see everything. Here we go. All right, so here's my hundreds columns as well. So I have 100, let's put this one in green, 167 and 4 tenths. All right, and then my other one is 167 and 462 thousandths. Remember, when we read decimals, we say the last place value. So if I'm looking at this, it does look like 162 and 462 thousandths is larger because it has more digits, but let's make sure that we're going based off of value. So I'm going to go ahead and convert 4 tenths to 4 thousandths. I know I can do this because 4 tenths times 100 hundredths, which is the same as 1, so my identity property tells me that I'm creating an equivalent fraction, is 400 thousandths. Okay, so now that I know that this is really the same as 400 thousandths, now I can look at my place values. I have the same amount of hundreds, the same amount of tens, I have the same amount of ones, I have the same amount of tenths, but my 167 and 462 thousandths has 62 thousandths more than my 400 thousandths. So we can say that 167 and 462 thousandths is larger. Let's go ahead and look at 2 more. And we'll talk through these. And remember, we can always use that place value chart as a support. Okay, if we have 158 thousandths and we are comparing this to 58 hundredths. All right, so if I'm thinking through this, I'm going to go ahead and write these in standard form to help me. So this is 158 thousandths. I'm starting off with my my fractional form. Okay, and I know that 158 thousandths would look like 0 wholes and 158 thousandths. So now I'm comparing 158 thousandths with 58 hundredths. All right, looking at my place values, they both have 0 wholes. So I'm going to go to my next largest place value. Well, 1 tenth versus 5 tenths. 5 tenths is greater. So I know that that 58 hundredths is greater than 158 thousandths. If we had wanted to convert to thousandths, we could have done that as well to clearly see that 580 thousandths is greater than 158 thousandths. Let's do one more for our little mini review. The last one we're going to talk about is 16 and 45 hundredths versus 16 and 454 thousandths. All right, so once again, when we're looking at these, I notice some similarities. They both have the same number of holes, 16 holes, 16 holes. So I'm continuing to go to my fractional parts to decide which one is greater. 4/10 and 4/10, still the same. 500th and 500th, still the same. Now there's nothing here in the thousands place. So I'm going to go ahead and add my 0 as a placeholder because I do know that 45 hundredths, when I multiply by a version of 1, this time being 10 tenths, I would get 450 thousandths. So now I can go ahead and compare. Oh, I forgot my equal sign. I can go ahead and compare 0 thousandths to 4 thousandths. Well, my 4 thousandths would be greater. 450 thousandths is less than 454 thousandths, so I can make that comparison. All right, friends, I hope that this was helpful and that this video helps you concrete your learning about comparing decimals. As always, let me know if there's anything I can do. Thanks so much.